All right, let's be honest for a second. Most of you probably think of fruit as, well, something simple, right? Sweet, harmless, something you pack in a kid's lunchbox. Yeah, allow me to correct that rather naive assumption. We're about to go deep into the jungles of Southeast Asia to talk about a fruit that nature, well, it seems like nature designed this one with some seriously malicious intent.
So let's just get right into it. The whole story here is a giant paradox, a fundamental contradiction that boils down to one simple question. Is this thing nature's most diabolical weapon, or is it its most treasured delicacy? And the crazy thing is, the answer is yes to both.
And this, right here, this just lays out the whole conflict perfectly. In one corner, you've got something that is, for all intents and purposes, a 20-pound medieval mace, covered in spikes. In the other corner, a delicacy so revered they call it the king of all fruits. And these two completely opposite identities, they belong to the very same plant, the durian.
Okay, so let's start with the case against the durian. I want to play prosecutor for a minute and build the argument that this thing is, well, it's basically a biological weapon. We're going to start by looking at its frankly aggressive physical defenses. This isn't just a piece of fruit. It's a masterpiece of botanical warfare. 20 pounds. You might be thinking, hey, a jackfruit can get heavier than that. And sure, it can. But a jackfruit is this soft, kind of squishy thing. This is 20 pounds of dense, weaponized plant matter that gravity is just itching to pull from 100 feet up in the air. Think about that. It's not just a cannonball with spikes, it's an airborne cannonball with spikes. And believe me, those spikes are not just for show. We're talking about a shell covered in these thick, woody, pyramid-shaped thorns. They're absolutely sharp enough and strong enough to pierce human skin without even trying. It's basically biological armor plating. I mean, a pomegranate skin looks like tissue paper next to this thing. Seriously, trying to handle one without thick gloves? That's a mistake you will make exactly once. And no, I'm not speaking metaphorically here. I mean this literally. There are actual historical accounts from villages in Southeast Asia of people using dry durian husks as weapons. You heard me, dropping them on intruders from up high, or even lashing them to sticks to create these brutally effective makeshift maces. This is weaponized botany. It's the only fruit in existence that you could also use to storm a castle. But you know what? The whole spiky cannonball thing? It's almost quaint compared to its other primary defense. Because now, we're moving from physical weapons into the realm of chemical warfare. That infamous smell? Oh, that's not an accident. That is a brilliantly executed evolutionary strategy. 50. Just look at that number for a second. 50 what, you ask? You could call it 50 reasons to run in the other direction. This is the number of different incredibly complex sulfur compounds that scientists have managed to identify inside just one durian. And for those of you who might need a little chemistry refresher, volatile sulfur compounds, or thiols if you want to get technical, they're the organic chemicals responsible for pungent, often really offensive odors. We're talking about things like skunks, rotten eggs, the smell they add to natural gas so you know there's a leak. It's the molecular signature of danger and decay. And this one fruit has an entire library of them. So if you've ever had the, let's call it the pleasure of smelling a fresh durian, and you thought to yourself, wow, this smells exactly like a skunk got into a fight with a bag of rotting onions? Well, guess what? You are, on a molecular level, 100% correct. It's not that it smells like skunk spray, it contains some of the exact same chemical compounds that are in skunk spray. This makes the durian one of the only plants on the entire planet that uses the same chemical arsenal as a cornered mammal. It's incredible. But here's the brilliant part. This isn't a design flaw. This chemical weapon is also a biological beacon. I mean, the sheer power of these sulfur compounds allows that scent to travel up to half a mile through thick, humid jungle air. It's basically the loudspeaker of the fruit world, screaming, "Come eat me," to attract animals from huge distances to come and disperse its seeds. Okay, let's just recap. We have a 20-pound spiked mace that literally smells like a skunk. So the big question is, why would any sane human being get within 100 feet of this thing? And yet, in old Siam, this wasn't seen as a menace at all. It was revered, treasured above all other crops. So now, let's make the case for the defense. This ancient proverb from Siam, what we now call Thailand, it just says it all, doesn't it? A stench of the sewer, a taste of the heavens. It perfectly captures the paradox. It doesn't hide from the horrific smell.
It acknowledges it, while promising this unbelievably divine reward. That contrast, that's the whole point.
And make no mistake, this was not some common street food. The durian was so prized, so valued by the Thai monarchy, that the royal court had special keepers. I'm not kidding. Their entire job, their whole career, was to patrol the king's groves and find the absolute best, most pungent, most perfect fruits for the royal table. Imagine dedicating your life's work to a fruit that is actively trying to kill you.
So let's just lay out the beautiful absurdity of this whole thing one more time. You've got a fruit that can literally pierce your skin. A fruit that smells like a skunk had an industrial accident. And yet, this is a symbol of the highest royalty. Why? Because the flesh inside apparently tastes like a divine, rich, almond-flavored custard. And that, right there, is how it got the name King of Fruits.
So, how do we solve this paradox, right? How does the king end up wearing a suit of spiked armor and dousing himself in the perfume of a skunk? Well, the explanation, as it turns out, is a perfect, elegant piece of evolutionary logic.
The answer is actually incredibly simple. The defense is so aggressive because the prize it's protecting is so incredibly valuable. The spikes, the weight, that overwhelming smell, those aren't bugs, they are features. They are the walls of a fortress, the combination on a vault, all designed to make sure that only the most determined creatures get to the rich, fatty, nutrient-dense reward inside. That's its entire survival advantage.
But honestly, the most fascinating part of this story isn't the plant. It's us. It's the sheer unbelievable audacity of human beings to walk up to this biological contradiction, this piece of weaponized botany, and instead of running away screaming, we leaned in. We decided to crack the code, bypass all the defenses, and crown it royalty.
Just think about it. We took a spiky, 20-pound weapon that smells exactly like a skunk, and we made it a king. Now that's absolutely wild.